You might have seen my review of the RayNeo Air 3S. Now there's a Pro version. I have it right here. Today I'm unboxing this and comparing it side by side with the original to figure out if it's actually worth the extra cash. We're gonna test comfort, display, portability, and spoiler alert, one of these features could make or break this Pro upgrade. So if you're deciding between these two or just wondering what the Pro actually gets you, this video should help make that choice much easier. Let's unbox it. But first, before we do all that, full disclosure, RayNeo sent these over for my review. They have no editorial say in my opinions shared in this video. Let's get started. All right, we have the box right here. They have changed the case. Check that out. You got an additional nose clamp, cushion, whatever you want to call it. Some cute little demo glasses. Here we got the fattest little booklet you've ever seen. So the lenses here, which did find their way into the original that came before this anyways. These are meant for if you're fitting for prescription lenses. Obviously, you know, these aren't prescription lenses out of the box, but you can order them. Thing else, oh, a little clothy thing so you can clean it. Isn't that nice of them to include that? And it's got a little shiny RayNeo on it as well. We do have a nice lengthy cord. The original has that as well. That's included. And finally, we've got the glasses themselves. I'd be really curious to kind of hold these up side by side with the 3S to see if the design has changed at all. I really don't think that's the case. Right off the bat, these glasses look very similar in design to the Air 3S that I reviewed a few months ago. You know, they still kind of sit a little further away from the head. You've got a little bit of that light peeking through capability down in the bottom. That's going to be addressed with something that I'm going to talk about here in a few minutes. Let's put them side by side to see how they look together. On the right, we've got the RayNeo Air 3S. On the left, the RayNeo Air 3S Pro. You can see they're very, very similar. I mean, the main difference, and I think this is probably just a variant difference, is the fact that the Air 3S that I have kind of like a gray, silverish framing, kind of a two-tone look between that silver and the black. And then the Air 3S Pro that I have here is just one singular kind of cohesive black, which honestly, I gotta say, I like a little bit better personally. I think the seamless, all unified color scheme is probably my favorite of the two. So let's start with the one thing you notice before the screen even turns on. I don't even have these plugged in right now, and that's really how they feel, both in the hand, of course, but also on the face. That's probably the most important one. On my face, you can see I've got them on right now. Say that they feel not equally as comfortable, right? They aren't gripping too hard around the skull. They rest nicely on the bridge of my nose, though, like we saw, it comes with a little nose pad adjuster that you can swap in if you want to find a more comfortable fit. You can do that. Weight-wise, these are 76 grams, which are actually the same as the Air 3S. Obviously, having a comfortable pair of glasses is going to be really important for extended use. So things like, being on a flight, a 5-hour flight and watching your content through the glasses, or an extended work session. Maybe you're using it on your Samsung device with Bixby. Just long viewing sessions in general. The comfort of these glasses will matter a lot. So overall, the design, very similar in this capacity. If you're looking for a major change in design, you're not necessarily getting that from the 3S to the 3S Pro. Now let's fire these bad boys up, because the screen that's on the inside is where most of that price difference should go. I've got my HomeAddicts Pocket TV with Google TV. It's kind of a portable Google TV device that I believe RayNeo also sells as kind of a companion device to plug into the glasses. So that's what I'm going to use. All right, let's head on over to YouTube and see if we can get something that's kind of spacey. RayNeo tells me that when it comes to the 1200 nits of peak brightness, which is actually double the brightness from the previous version, which was at 650. Yes, that's about brightening up the display, but it's also about improving the contrast. So in very dark scenes with little white points like stars, those stars become a lot more vibrant, a lot more bright by comparison and contrast to the darkness. And so I want to test those between the two devices. Right now, okay, I'm looking at a starry scene and it is really impressive to look at. The darks are darker, the brights feel really bright. What I want to do is I want to pause this, and now I'm going to swap glasses. Got the RayNeo Air 3S that I'm now plugging into the previous version. And we'll hit play. Yeah, I can see a difference. It's a little duller. You know, it's one of those things that you really got to be looking for, but I want to get a sense of how this looks and then switch back over and see if it really wows me in the transition. I mean, this still looks really good, I have to say. The Air 3S has a solid display in it. Back into the Air 3S Pro. Check that starry sky one more time. There's a definite difference. Things look punchier. Things almost look a little more colorful, which that could be my mind playing tricks on me, but it looks a lot punchier, a lot better on the 3S Pro. Now, one thing that I, coming from the smartphone world, thought when I saw double the nits, double the peak brightness is, oh wow, well that must mean that it's going to be great outdoors, because in the Air 3S video that I did, that was one of my complaints. These aren't necessarily glasses that you want to take out on a sunny day and watch content outside, especially with the underside area being exposed. It just floods in too much light and doesn't make that a very obvious use case. And so I thought with double the nits, this might increase outdoor visibility. So I think that's worth checking just to kind of see how it compares. All right, so I'm in my backyard. It's obviously very, very sunny. I'm gonna go ahead and put on the Air 3S Pro, see if this helps in outdoor visibility. You know, I gotta say, it is a boost. I can definitely see more on the screen right now than I could with the Air 3S. I want to say it's subtle, but it's maybe even a little bit more than that. I can still pretty much make out what's on the screen, and it definitely looks a little bit brighter than what we have on the Air 3S. Whew. It's hot out there. So what we've got going on here that's really playing to the strength of the Air 3S Pro is that RayNeo has developed an optical module, their own internally developed optical module that results in sharper, cleaner visuals, less ghosting artifacts, that sort of stuff, but it also reduces glare by 15%. Not a huge percentage, but I'll take it, anything. Added to the upgrades are 2 new color modes as well. There's an eye protection mode for extended use. There's also a vision boost mode for outdoor viewing. All of this really impacts how you actually can enjoy your content, right? The flexibility of the Air 3S Pro, especially in bright rooms, outdoors, as you saw, extended sessions. They've made some notable changes here, and that's a good thing. All right, quick pause. If you're into honest, no hype reviews and walkthroughs like this one, consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. I cover all kinds of emerging mobile tech and have a lot of cool stuff in the pipeline. All right, let's talk portability. And specifically, how do these actually fit into your life day to day? We've got 2 different approaches on the case front. The original Air 3S has this kind of zipper profile case. It's actually kind of feels more like a hard shell. It's full, molded on the inside. The glasses just fit right into that little spot there pretty easily. And it also has a little pocket for the wire to coil up in. Just put it in, zip it around, and it's good to go. I think with this case, because it's so hard, I can feel confident that if I throw this in my bag, the glasses aren't going to get pushed into, right? Because it's hard enough to withstand that. So I think that's a good thing. Now with the Air 3S Pro, we've got this soft cover case. And this is definitely a different approach. It's a little bit more flexible. The case itself has some give to it. I'm not entirely too worried that when I throw glasses in here and put it into, say, my backpack, that they're going to, meet an untimely demise. I actually don't know. Does this go like that or like that? That seems to be the way for it to go. I don't know. I mean, side by side, the RayNeo Air 3S Pro case is definitely more attractive. Like, I love the feel of this fabric, and it looks almost more like a sunglasses case. Is it any smaller? No, it's actually a little larger. So you're not really trimming down on the size, except for the fact that it's a triangular shape instead of a full rectangular square. So maybe that's the difference. But when you're talking durability and, just no brainer, throw it in the bag and go and feel comfortable about the fact that these are going to survive the trip, kind of say that the case on the Air 3S is maybe a little bit more promising from that perspective, a little bit more reassurance in this case, whereas this one, just a little flexible and a little flimsy by comparison. And not to mention, with the old case, you do have that extra pocket for the cable to find its way into. On the new case, you kind of just got to figure out how you fit the cable into there. And it's not a small cable, so, winding it up and finding space inside that case, it feels a little less tailored. It feels more like you're just kind of throwing it in there, and maybe that's all you need, but I don't know. I kind of like the compartment approach of the other case by comparison. Also, as far as portability is concerned, you want to know that you can plug and play with anything that supports the hardware. And neither of these glasses is any different from the other as far as that's concerned. You use your USB-C port that is included. You can plug it into things like the Pocket TV that I was showing off earlier. You can even plug it into devices that support DisplayPort out of the USB-C, like this Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra. You do that, you get a Bixby display, as I showed off in my other video, and that's the same between the devices. So you've got some really great use cases, right? Travel, portable media, productivity. If you are a Nintendo Switch gamer, you'll want to know that the Pro now adds support for the Nintendo Switch 2. You do have to have Rayneo's Joy Dock and have that updated to the latest firmware. I don't actually have it here to test, but I think that's worth noting if gaming on the go matters to you. And by the way, that goes for the original too, so that's even greater news. And finally, what actually makes the Pro? Well, self-developed ultra-thin optical module, as I mentioned earlier, that reduces the glare by 15%. That's nice. There's also now spatial audio capability. So the Pro adds spatial sound to the dual chamber design. Those are the speakers on the top and the bottom. It's a very immersive sound, immersive experience for games, cinematic stuff. You get that theater feel a little more here. And this is a pretty cool feature that I also can't show because I don't have it, but there's a light blocking shade that you can buy separately, and it's designed to help in really bright environments. And it aims to address that one key complaint that I had from the Air 3S, which is that too much light seeps in from the bottom. This lens shade would allow you to block that off, tone it down anyways. I don't have it. It is an extra cost, so you're gonna have to buy that extra once it comes out. And probably the most notable change with the Pro is the price. And unfortunately, I wasn't given the price in time for this video, though I did press RayNeo on this. They said it'll be made public soon. I was assured by RayNeo that the Air 3S Pro will be priced lower than $250 during the early bird sale. That's already almost $20 less than the Air 3S that came before it. So check my description. Once there's an updated sale price, I'm going to put it in my description so it's there and you know how much you will have to spend for the Air 3S Pro. So here's where I land. If you want the best version available, the Air 3S Pro is the clear winner, right? Better visuals, brighter environments, more immersive sound with that spatial audio support, more visual flexibility. I think those are pretty true improvements. Now, if you're after value, well, the original still delivers a really great experience, and it'll be at a lower price. Now, don't forget, I did a full review of the RayNeo Air 3S a few months back, which you should definitely check out. If you're considering this kind of wearable display, you're gonna wanna know all about that one. And you already hopefully know all about the Air 3S Pro. If this helped, leave a comment down below. Let me know which one you think you're gonna go with, and also let me know what you plan to do with it. I'm super curious. Thank you so much for watching this look at the new RayNeo Air 3S Pro. We'll see you in the next one.